The history of this thing is that the guys at Ableton, in particular Robert Henke, aka Monolake, were really early Max MSP users. They've been using this stuff and making their own little gizmos for absolutely ages, and there's a sort of like almost a family connection between Cycling 74 and Ableton, which is pretty hilarious because we try to figure out the sort of analogy. I mean, the two companies are philosophically about as different as you can get. The guys at Ableton are all kind of really disciplined and they have plans and stuff and they know what they're doing from day to day, and we don't. We have absolutely no idea at all. We're like sort of like this bunch of gypsies that are camped out in their car park and they're kind of looking out the window going, oh my god. But anyway, so we've been great friends with those guys for years and years, and we've always been talking about how it would be really cool if you could have a way to be able to create content for Ableton Live using MaxMSP to program it. So basically this is what we've done. So you go into Live and you pick out an instrument that's just like any old live instrument. This thing kicks up and you get this little screen there. Oh, it's a pity that we can't really see it. Now what this is just a purely it's not going to last. Don't worry.
Sorry.
So it's not going to work because I'm going to be moving out of that screen.
Just point to the screen and I'll zoom in it.
Okay, all right. So this is like a default audio device for that's made using MaxMSP, and I'm like, okay, well that's not very interesting. I want to be able to edit it. So, oops. So now I can hit the edit button. Let me see how Let me show you what I did.
Oh, you got it back.
I hit there's a button there on the device called the edit button. Kabam! And there it is. There's my device, and it's open in MaxMSP, and it's actually I can do stuff. These patch cord, these cables here connect the input of this device to the output of this device, and you can see if I do this. You can't because I'm.
See, you're using Pluggo objects, but Max 5 doesn't support Pluggo, so what's going on with that?
They MaxForLive objects.
Huh. But it still has the same name as the Pluggo object.
Oh, there's lots of objects that have the same names. But it just has a function in MaxForLive now. So what you're seeing is that the changes that I make in real time to this patch are updating the device in the live environment. So I can do stuff like I can, and it's probably a good idea to have audio, but there's all sorts of things that I can do, build devices. MaxMSP contains a whole bunch of different unit building blocks so that you can do things like create various effects, put delays and stuff, and all of that kind of thing, which isn't very interesting to you guys because you're all into video.
But it's a similar method if you're using this with video, right?
Absolutely. If you now, so primarily, people who are going to be developing MaxForLive devices are going to be pretty much audio guys. We've got some content that we're developing for this thing ourselves. Audio out, you mean?
Yeah, audio.
This is going to be a really boring drum loop, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, for demos.
Let me see if I can find it.
Man, if I had been smart, I would have brought the APC 40. You could have showed the
could have plugged you. I don't know, one of those, don't I? There we go. So what we've done is we've gone and written a couple of things for live.
I don't know. It just sounded focused. I don't know what's going on.
Live's never had a step sequencer, or one that's any good at least.
So this is
You want the audio?
Now this here,
Yeah.
let me show you.
Might as well.
Yeah, if you want.
Bringing it right here again.
so this machine you're using. This is something you just pulled out of your library in the same way as
What the fuck?
the audio driver you showed us, right?
Sorry?
This thing you're showing us now, you just pulled this out of the same library that.
It's just a VST plug in it.
It's a. I'll show you what it is. Hold on a sec. Here's a step sequencer that we made for as part of the content for.
Ooh, that's nice.
I don't know if it's going to work. Go away. Yeah, that sounds really good. Okay, here's a step sequencer that's running here in this arrangement. Now, this is an edit button in it. This is a Max patch. So MaxForLive, is going to include a bunch of content that you guys are all going to be able to edit and tweak to your own thing, and it's all this. Basically, none of this stuff is obfuscated for you guys in any sort of way at all. You're all going to be able to get in there and pull this content apart to your heart's content and rejig it for your own purposes and use it for examples and stuff. The step sequence is actually really awesome. We've got a couple of other. We are also in the process at the moment of rewriting all of a large chunk of the plugin content for which is we're just going to hand out as examples for this stuff. There's what else have we got?
If you make a patch, can you share it with people that do not own MaxForLive using the runtime model?
In order to be able to run MaxForLive content, you will need to buy. It's like an Ableton instrument, so you'd need to buy the MaxForLive. You don't have to be able to edit it, but you'd need to buy the MaxForLive thing from Ableton. So it's like one of their instruments.
So there is no.
So we're not actually even selling it.
Right. Yeah, I know that.
So it's like you buy Operator or whatever you buy from Ableton, and when you go to plug it in, it'll be the same thing. You buy MaxForLive, and you'll get the ability to be able to edit these things if you want, but you also get the content, and you'll get everyone else's content that decides to share it with you.
So there's not going to be anything like what
there's not going to be
did with like a Reactor player where you could still share things as long as they bought the player, so that
Well, that's basically what it's going to be. I mean, there will be a player. I don't know if there's going to be, at this stage of things, I'm not sure that we're talking about a player that doesn't have an edit function, like a run.
That's what I'm saying. Something that would cost less,
like a runtime. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Maybe we've talked about it with them. What else? Don't know. Not much. Yeah, it's going to be cheap. Hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find another one. Buffer shuffler. I'm pretty keen on buffer shuffler. This is pretty cool. It's kind of like the evolution of dumb loopers. So I'll turn it down. This one. So this one here, what it does is it samples incoming audio and plays it back in different kind of orders. So now I have this grid for reordering the every 16th note of the whatever loop we're in. We're in like a 2-bar loop